And one of the key things as well that helped me, well, motivated me to get help as well, was that I had written a suicide note and I had placed it under some books and stuff. But I have a younger sister who's very, very curious about rummaging through my stuff in my bedroom when I was younger. And she found the note. And when I saw the impact it had on her, reading that I had got to that place and I was contemplating it, and I actually attempted it, seeing the sadness there was just, I don't even want to get upset now, but seeing the sadness there, you know, and to realize that I need to do this for me, but also for the people who care about me so much too. And that was a huge motivator to do something about my life and to take charge again.
Yeah, yes. Thank you for saying that, because it's so right. So I've been through that as well, and I didn't have, you know, I was very young when I attempted suicide, and I didn't get any support. But the second time, I had a friend who said to me, if you don't do it for yourself, don't do it for us. And we love you, and we would be extremely sad, because I had shared with some of my friends how I was feeling, and that sentence is what stopped me halfway through my second time. And that's the reason why when I went back to that dark place a few times in my life, I never attempted suicide because of those words, because that was it got to the stage where there were points in my life where I just couldn't see a way through, but I didn't want, I felt so terrible, and I didn't want to cause that suffering onto anyone else.
Yeah.
There were people I loved too much to do that to them, even when it means that I was in that dark place on my own for months, when it feels like sometimes it feels like it's the only way to make the suffering stop.
Yeah.
And so thank you so much for sharing that. I wasn't planning on having that discussion today, but you know what, we're here, and I love that we can be honest about it. So now let's talk about helping people to not get to that dark place. So what would be your best tips to have happy and harmonious relationships around us? And we'll talk about, you know, the specifics for people who are in depression afterwards, but like the general, you know, idea is, how does anyone go about making their relationship with people better?
Sure. Well, firstly, you use the words, you know, happy, harmonious relationships. We first have to find that happiness and harmony within ourselves, because we often feel that our happiness is reliant upon external factors.
Yeah.
I'll be happy when I'm in a relationship. I'll be happy when I have that dream job. I'll be happy when. No, your happiness starts absolutely now. And in order to sustain and have healthy relationships with other people, you need to seek that happiness with yourself. So what I do, you know, on a regular basis, and also encourage my clients to do, is to complete a wheel of life. Now, a wheel of life is a coaching tool. You can Google it on the internet. But basically what it does is it segments your life into about 8 key categories, being your health, your relationships, your finances, you know, your fun, your leisure, whatever that might be. And what you do is you rate your level of contentment on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 being you are very content in that area, 0 being not. And you rate yourself. And then you can see which key areas require improvement. And you can set yourself some goals, whether that's short-term or long-term goals, in order to actually increase your level of contentment. Now, it's called a wheel because, in actual fact, when you join it all up, it can look pretty bumpy. And really what you're looking for is a nice smooth wheel, because we know that you have bumpy wheels, you're not really going anywhere, are you? You can't ride a bike with a square wheel. It has to be really nice and round. So I would say it's to self-audit yourself. Look at how you can increase that level of contentment. Another key thing to do as well is to audit your relationships, because when we are in a state of feeling low, when we are feeling depressed, anxious, stressed. Like you said, we like to draw upon other people. Relationships are key. We are born as human beings to connect with people. That's what it is. And when we are feeling low, we can often go within ourselves. And sometimes we don't even know who to call upon. So how can you create happier, harmonious relationships? Well, audit your relationships. There was a key thing, a key analogy, can't say good words, analogy that I came across a few years ago. And it's from a gentleman called Ed J.C. Smith. And it's about the aerodynamics on an aeroplane. You've got your lift, you've got your weights, you've got your drags, and you've got your thrusts. So if you categorize your people into 4 different sections, what you can do is you say, so which people lift me up? So these are the people who brighten up your day, inspire you, the people who actually make you feel better, your lifts. Then you've got your thrusts. You've got your people who inspire you, motivate you, help to challenge you in aspects of your life in a very positive way. Then you've got your people who are your weights. So these are the people who deplete your energy, the people who, when you leave them, you just feel quite negative about life. And then you have your drags, and these are the people who have their own sad story, expecting you to always lift them up. Now, if you just create 4 columns on a piece of paper, grab a pen, and just list people in each one of those columns, and then decide how you can spend more or less time with those people. So, of course, you want to be spending less time and protecting your energy from people who are the drags and the weights, and calling upon the people who are your thrusts and your lifts and spending time with those. Now, sometimes it's not always easy to spend less time with people who are drags and weights because they might be family members.
Yes.
However, try to seek ways in order to maybe protect your energy a little bit more. If there's a challenging situation you're having, a piece of conflict, find ways to resolve that conflict in a healthy way. So that would be one of my key things as well. For me personally, in order to also create healthier, harmonious relationships, I'm very much big on gratitude as well. And it can be really difficult at times when you're feeling really low to be appreciative of things in our life. Yeah. Sometimes we think, why? Or what's there to be? What's the point? But there are numerous small and large blessings that happen on a daily basis. And if we can just spend some focused time really thinking about it, it could be 1, 2, or 3 things a day to be grateful for. You can really shift your attitude. I think that gratitude is a massive antidote to anxiety, to worry, to depression, to stress, if we can practice that.
Yeah, absolutely. I practice gratitude twice a day, first thing in the morning and last thing in the evening. And it does make a big difference. Absolutely. It really helps resetting your mind and then switch it on that positive. I found what's interesting about what you're saying about the, the 4 categories of people and the drags and the weights. And I have been in situations where there people that I couldn't avoid who were in those categories. And I know some of the things I was doing was I was giving myself extra self-care before I was to see them, so that when I saw them, I had replenished my energy and I would go in with a positive mindset, but also with I was going in with a mindset ready to serve them, so that because I knew that they needed support, but I would give the support to myself first so that I had something to give. And then I would make sure afterwards I would do some more self-care. So I've just become really, really aware of it. And and it was like small things, like I would, after work, I would go home, I would have a shower, so clear my energy from the day, do some yoga, meditation. So I would be in this really happy, peaceful place. And then I would engage with that person, so that I was in a place where I was able to listen and to be, and I think the reason I was doing this was that so that I wouldn't react negatively to their behaviors. because they're in that difficult place, they're not thinking about their energy. They're not thinking about what they're saying and how it's going to impact you. So it's just like, because I'm in that really calm place, I am able to see that it's about them and it's not about me. So I don't take it personally. And so it's very much what you're saying. It's looking after yourself first.
100%. Like you said,
Yeah.
you pour into your own cup first so that you can give to other people from the overflow.
Yeah.
Again, you have that other analogy, which is about the aeroplane oxygen mask analogy, which so many people have heard, haven't they?
Yeah.
If you are on an aeroplane and you're in a state of emergency, they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first so you're able to help other people. And that's the same when it comes to self-care. We have to be making sure that our battery is full. And whatever way that means, and protecting and preserving our energy, just like what you do before you go into a challenging situation.
Yeah. No, brilliant. Okay, so for specific, so what would be your advice for people who are feeling down or depressed on how they can deal with people around them? Because obviously, it's a lot harder if you are in that place to do what I've just described, isn't it?
Yeah. I think firstly, it's going to people who you feel you can trust. Trust is a huge part when it comes to relationships. And not everyone's going to understand your journey and your experiences, but you really want to be going to people and asking for help. Now, we're in a society where asking for help is seen to be a sign of weakness. And particularly, not to be too gender biased, but for men as well, it's like, oh no, I must be strong, I can't cry, big boys don't cry, that type of energy. That's not what it is about. In actual fact, asking for help is a huge sign of strength.